Holy shit. Oh my goodness.
Y'all better not cancel my ass. That's all I got.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold, well, whatever.
What's with these colors bleeding everywhere? What happened to NXT? Saw Ring of Honor, that was alright. New Japan C1 is here. Ooh, ooh, but that dark side of the ring. Ooh, ooh, that plane ride was extreme. Ooh, ooh, we'll talk about it all. Ooh, it's time this Saturday morning. For Mark Out Mania. James and Pedro are here to mark out with you live on Mark Out Mania.
Jimmy Craig,
yeah.
Don't care. Oh, hell yeah.
You guys are savages, man. You guys are savages.
Hola, amigos, and welcome to the Mark Out Mania.
Oh my God! Are we live on YouTube? Yes, we are. Right?
Yeah, we are live.
Man.
For the time being. Yeah, we're live. Hey, welcome everyone. This is episode number 146. We're only like 4 episodes away from 150.
That's kind of cool.
And as always, we've got James the Extreme Sorno. How are you, Mr. Sorno?
I am good, Mr. Boyd. Thank you. It's a good thing that our pre-shows aren't live. I'll just put it to you like that.
And what's that?
Oh my God!
It's the God of
sound
Thunder. Zeus King Dark. How are you?
Smiling politely. How are you today?
James, my sound effects were just taking my fingers and drumming the microphone like this.
Wow, sparing no expense here at Markout Mania.
Man, so what's been going on? A lot of stuff this week. Shit.
Lots of stuff. Lots of interesting stuff. People getting canceled. People winning titles. Just lots of shit going on. People debuting in other federations. It was Jackson Pollock on NXT. Well, what the hell's going on? All kinds of shit.
Oh man. Where do we even start? Do we start?
I say we start with the hottest topic.
Oh no! What are you gonna say, Zeus?
I was gonna say let's start with the happy news.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Good news.
Okay,
tell us the good news.
Well, the good news is obviously one of the very most likable people in all of professional wrestling today. Big E won the Raw Heavyweight Championship in WWE by beating Bobby Lashley, and then the New Day came out and all reunited, and everybody loved it. Nobody that wasn't like trolling came out there and said anything negative. It's just
if you troll that, there's something wrong with you as a human being.
There is something wrong with you. So
because that was a legitimate feel good moment for everyone, especially for Big E, because everybody loves Big E. Everybody loves him, like you said. Everybody, he's such a good guy. Everybody, and you know what? He does deserve this. This is good. Although I was a fan of the heel Lashley champion, I did like it. It was good. But, I mean, come on, man. How do you not like Big E as your champion? It's awesome.
I was going to say, when I heard earlier in that on Monday, I heard earlier in the day the rumors that he was going to cash in on that night. Right. I was telling my friend Brian Bell, I was telling him, I kind of want to see Raw now. I didn't watch it, but it made me want to see it. And then when I saw the clips of it online, one of the things that stood out to me was the pop. The pop was massive. Yeah. It's one of the biggest pops we've heard in a long time anywhere when he wins. It was like, what? People are just losing their shit. It was great.
Yeah. It was a good win for him. he has enough personality to carry the championship, and he should be booked properly. Yeah, because he has enough charisma, he has enough charm, he has enough personality to pull it off. So
see, and the thing about Big E is, I think that he's smart enough and clever enough to be able, like, any kind of booking that you throw at him at this point, he's going to be able to work it,
right.
and keep himself looking good and still stay true to himself and everything. So, I mean, barring him giving birth to a hand,
Damn it, Zeus.
well, I mean, they already did that, and that the only reason that probably hasn't happened again is probably because that was like Russo's idea or something. I don't know. But
the good news is I gave birth to a hand. The bad news only has 4 fingers.
We've now put it out in the universe. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Just go ahead.
just remember, Vince doesn't like other people's ideas, so he's definitely not taking them.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
Unless Nick Khan overhears this, then if Nick Khan tells Vince something, obviously, because that's the only person he's listening to right now.
Whoa.
But
what did anything else happen on that Raw? Like I didn't hear of anything else from that Raw.
I don't think so. I mean, that was definitely
nothing newsworthy. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing news. I mean, it's good for Big E. He deserves it. I agree with you, Zeus. I mean, I think he's in the spot, and he's definitely smart enough to overcome any kind of bad booking decision. And and if he does get booked badly, but by any chance, I think he could turn it around and make it work. So.
Y'all are challenging these people to really bomb with this.
No, because look what happened with Lashley. He got put in that stupid storyline with Lana. That was horrible booking, man. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then he turned it around, and then he teamed up with MVP, the Hurt Business, and boom, he blew up.
And then they almost sabotaged that close to WrestleMania by getting rid of the Hurt Business.
Yeah, but rumors are it's supposed to be coming back now, so let's see.
I mean, I liked Lashley's title reign too. I think he still
I loved it.
He still had legs as champion, but I think maybe I wouldn't be surprised if he switched brands and he went to SmackDown, and maybe
I wanted to see. Everybody wants to see Reigns against Lesnar. I wanted to see Lashley against Lesnar.
Well, it's the battle for Paul Heyman right now. So
right,
yeah.
And honestly, I don't want to see. I don't want to see Big E. I mean, I think he showed up and got in Roman's face, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it last night. Yeah.
Right. So let's just hope that we don't get swerved and I shouldn't even say this shit out loud, but let's hope we don't get swerved and Brock shows up on Monday with Paul Heyman, and then he wins, the Raw title, and then Paul Heyman's got both champions.
Oh God, yeah, Zeus, don't say that out loud.
It's okay. Thank God nobody listens to our show.
There you go.
It's too late, baby. Now it's too late.
Pedro coming off his Friday Night Jam season finale.
Yeah, had the season finale of Friday Night Jams last night. So anyone want to check it out? You got 7 episodes you can watch, which is like, I think the finale was an hour and 3 minutes.
Something like that.
The other episodes are roughly 30 minutes. One episode's like 40 minutes, but so 6 30-minute episodes. That's like 3 hours plus another. So it's like 4 hours plus of music for people to check out if they want.
Pedro playing his guitar string, bling. But I like Big E. I think it's going to be good, man. And Zeus, nobody was trolling as. I mean, you have to be like fucking Trump level type of person if you troll that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. You can't. I mean, he gets nothing but love. You know?
But we know there's people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people like that for everything. So.
I wanted to see somebody. I was waiting for somebody to say, "Oh, how can you put the strap on Big E?" I was waiting for that, but I never got it. Thank God. So, you know.
Here's a question: do you think there's any chance that they put the title on Xavier Woods in the future, and then all three members of the New Day?
I don't know. That's pushing
it. Healthy though, right?
Yeah, he can't even stay healthy, man.
He doesn't seem like that a main event level talent to me, anyways. But
there's there are two types of people who are never healthy. There's Xavier Woods types, and then there's a Samoa Joe type.
Well,
yeah. Okay. You're going to put your strap on Samoa Joe, even though you know there's a good chance that he's going to get hurt. You're not going to do the same with Xavier Woods. And this is not knocking Xavier Woods.
No, yeah. Some people have a certain ceiling, right?
Yeah, because he's great at what he does. But I'm not putting a world title on him. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Yeah.
You know, Kofi was over. He was always over. And he boomed after they gave him the strap. So, you know, I actually bought into Kofi as a champion. You know, I was like, yeah, you know what? He could be a champion. Another
super likable guy that,
right?
You know,
athletic,
worked his ass off, bumped his like a pro for everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, you remember like the very beginning of the Kofi Mania thing? That was the when Mustafa Ali was getting really popular as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And sadly, they've never let him. They've never let him shine since then. I mean, that whole thing with what was the
wasted potential?
What was the name of that stable that he had with all the
the Retribution?
The Retribution.
Yeah.
Him and T-Bar and
in other words,
Dijakovic.
The Wish version of WWE superstars.
Yeah, exactly. The Wish version.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but he's not doing anything. And then, and I'm going to say this, it kind of bleeds into what we're going to discuss later on in the show. But, everybody was like, oh, NXT 2.0, NXT. Let me tell you something. After what, I don't care if NXT had all the talent on the world and Paul Heyman booking the show. Okay? You put NXT on right after 3 hours of Raw, no one's going to watch it. Because it's tough watching another wrestling show after watching 3 hours of Raw. Because I watched 3 hours of Raw, and it punches me in the face. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anything else. So it's tough.
I'm gonna also say this about Mustafa Ali is he was in a dark match at the SmackDown I went to last January, and people went nuts for him.
He's good.
I mean, but they were like the Greensboro crowd. They knew who he was immediately. They were excited for him. He had a good match, and I'm like going. He had a better match, and he might have been against Gulak. I can't remember. But it's like he had such a good match, and he was so over with the crowd. It's just another one of those things that where you look at the way that they, for some reason, there's something they don't see in people. The management, whatever. It's just like,
and he could cut a promo. I mean, it's not. I mean, he's not horrendous on behind the mic,
But the whole thing is just like, I mean, to keep him on a dark match for God's sake. I mean,
that sucks.
I mean, he definitely tuned up the crowd, and sadly, that I don't remember what happened next. It was the opening of the show, so it was another 15 or 20 minutes before we got a match. Like it's just like Naomi. It's like, why are they? She spent the better part of 2 years not doing hardly anything.
She's not doing anything now. She's going back and forth with Sonya Deville. Oh, book me. Put me on the show. Yeah. So, it's obvious. You put her in the stable with Roman Reigns and her husband and, build it up like that,
So anyway, that's kind of beside the point. We should just, let's try to, like I said, those are two people I like in WWE that,
Yeah.
So congratulations, Biggie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good on you, mate.
Yeah. The Naomi thing, we've talked about this a few times in the past.
Yeah.
It's just she was over. She was over. So I don't know why. I don't know why they were like, you're one and done. Like she was one of those, like almost like a TNA title run. Like you got your one and done.
Without just saying that people are blatantly racist, like I said, who listens to our show? But
no, Zeus, you're right, man.
It does make you wonder about those conclusions, right? Like it makes you go down that
roster. Not for nothing, but she's better than more than half that roster.
Well, now see, I don't think she's as good in ring as y'all do.
She's very entertaining in the ring.
My standards are fairly high on the women's wrestling thing, though. But she's entertaining and she's over. Like that's the important thing. She's over.
But WWE, that's what you want, right?
Like think about her look. Like forget anything she does in the ring. Her look alone is so marketable. It's so cool. It's so unique. You're like, you should. I mean, there should have been like all kind of toys that lit up and shit, like glow in the dark.
Teddy bears, glow in the dark teddy bears, glow in the dark
Barbie dolls,
belts, Barbie dolls.
Belts. Yeah, can you imagine the toy belts for kids? Imagine those like glowing with little LED lights or something like. It writes itself, and you're like, oh, they do nothing with her. It's crazy.
So we digress.
Yes, we digress.
We digress. So what are we talking about now? The color diarrhea, or
we can get into that real quick. I mean, because it's part of WWE. I mean, thank God it was kept. You had the Jackson Pollock painting in the like at the beginning of the show. So it's not like it's all throughout. So it's good. I do like the intimate setting. I do like the intimate setting. That was good to me. The bad, you could tell it was totally produced by Vince and Kevin Dunn because you had the MTV camera work going on. 9 different fucking angles in 9 different seconds. I hate that, but it is what it is.
That little animated intro thing, James, I hated it.
I'm not a fan of it, but it's in the intro, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's
I know, but like I have a few things to say about it though. Like one, it looks ugly, right? It looks ugly, and then on top of it looking ugly, this little animated intro, they've got this very low energy hip hop song.
And
I'm like, I don't have a problem with it being hip hop. But why not something with
actually Hit Row should have did it. Hit Row should have did it. You tie it into your talent.
But why not something with some energy? It's the start of a show. It's the start of a wrestling show. I shouldn't be hearing something that makes me think like, oh, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna chill. Like that's not how you should be getting into a wrestling show. Like, oh, let's all relax. It's a wrestling show. So after saying all that about the intro, I do like the set. I think this is pretty nice, actually. I thought I was gonna hate it. But the set looked fairly nice, I thought.
It's nice. It's intimate setting. It with the white ring ropes and the white ring. I was like, okay, all right. It's nice. I dig it, you know. And then, you know, automatically, you know, you got Braun Breaker, Laser Braun, as he beats LA Knight in the opening match, and that just sets up. It's like, yeah, we know where we're going with this.
But you know, James, I didn't think he was bad.
No, he wasn't bad at all. No,
He's not bad. It's just the stupidest name.
Yeah, the name is dumb because
well, he's using his real first name. Okay, fine, but White Breaker.
Just call him Bronson Steiner or something.
Yeah.
Or Braun Steiner. Well, no, that sounds stupid as fuck. But
there's nothing wrong with Rex Steiner.
Yeah, Rex Steiner was perfect.
I mean, you could even make it WREK Steiner. I don't care, but just call him a fucking Steiner because he looks just like Scott. He sounds just like Rick.
Zeus, did you see the match?
Yes, I actually did.
Okay, so we all three saw this match, right?
Yeah.
He hits the Steiner line just like the Steiners.
Yeah.
He does the suplexes just like the Steiners.
He's built just like the Steiners.
He does the freaky athleticism stuff just like the Steiners. There is like a one suplex where he did a single leg and then it looked like he just deadlifted LA Knight in the air and like nothing and suplexed him. I was like, holy shit.
LA Knight bumped him pretty good though, you know?
Yeah.
I was impressed with LA Knight bumping for him. I'm like, good job.
I felt kind of bad for LA Knight because he was going to be in the main event and is like, I mean, he was still in the main event, but he was basically just a jobber in a competitive squad.
Well, I'm hearing all kinds of things about the whole beginning of the match. I'm hearing that 3 people got hurt at the last minute, so they had to change a lot of shit up to like the hour, like the last hour going into the show. So I heard a lot of things got changed at the last minute because of legitimate injury.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, all right. So, okay. Maybe LA and I stepped up and said, hey, you know what? You know, I'll put the kid over. And he did.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I think he has tons of potential.
Yeah.
He does.
And then right away,
get rid of that stupid name.
Yeah, and then, you know, he's featured throughout the show. And then, you know, I got the Tommaso. Now, you know, you took the belt off Samoa Joe strategically. Yeah, because you want to put on the young talent because the new NXT 2.0 launch, you want to put on somebody young. You put on the oldest guy in the fucking roster, Tommaso Ciampa. But, as you said, Pedro, as a transitional champion, it could work. And as you said, Zeus, he'll probably do anything not to go up to the main roster anyway. So it kind of makes sense, you know?
Yeah, you know, and me personally, you know, it would have been a great time to put the belt on somebody like Phantasma or even, you know, even Strickland, you know.
That would have been sweet.
I mean, you know, because neither one. Honestly, you know, both of those guys got a decade under their belts.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, nobody's really young. I mean, that's the whole funny thing. It's like nobody's young, you know, because you don't get, you know, you didn't used to get into NXT without, you know, being somebody that was close to being ready to be on the main roster, so they needed people with, you know, 5 to 10 years under their belt.
Yeah.
You know, but then now we hear the rumblings where they're, you know, going to take complete, total fucking strangers to the business and start training them, which is going to be, you know, stupid.
They got the 2 brothers. I forgot their name. They're with the Diamond Mine now.
Was it Briggs and Jensen?
Yeah, and then the other girl, she's with Diamond Mine, and now they're pushing Imperium.
Maybe it wasn't Briggs and Jensen. Briggs and Jensen was the tag team that lost to Imperium on the.
Right. No. This is like a legit brother, supposedly legit brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That Briggs and Jensen, they were terrible. I'm just gonna say it. They were so green. They were so green. They were so sloppy, and they were just running roughshod over Imperium. And did you hear the crowd turn on that match?
Yeah, they didn't know how to. They didn't know what they were doing with Imperium. If I was Imperium, I'd have been pissed.
Because I think that crowd. Because I thought as that match was going on, I thought, oh shit, Imperium are jobbing to these people. And then you hear the crowd booing, and I'm like, oh shit, they know that's what they think is happening too, and they're pissed.
Yeah.
But then Imperium ended up winning the match. But they showed ass the entire match.
Yeah.
To these super green dudes.
They were very sloppy.
Yeah. I mean, they're like AEW sloppy. You know what I mean? Like AEW YouTube show sloppy. I was like,
yeah, we'll touch on that later. Adam Cole, baby, let's cheer for mediocrity. Yeah. Anyway, but it was you're gonna put the belt on Ciampa. I wanted Pete Dunne, but I get it because he's gonna be a transitional champion. I get it. Now, if you're gonna push fucking Rex Steiner that fast, I don't know. But he seems like he's already challenging Ciampa for the strap. So, I mean, that's kind of quick. How about a little build-up, But again, it's the MTV world, 8 camera cuts and 8-second storylines, 9,000 storylines in between commercial breaks. So,
what'd you think of the women's 6 tag?
Yeah.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was good.
It was all right.
And I thought Mandy Rose's new look was really good, actually.
I like her new look. And her new attitude, too.
Yeah, I saw her new look. I didn't see that.
It's weird. On the main roster, I didn't think much of her wrestling at all. But she seems way better here than she did on the main roster.
Well, she's had plenty of time doing nothing to get good.
Yep, exactly.
Like, when you see her now, she's always been muscular, right?
Yeah.
But it really comes off now that she's a muscular lady beating people up. Mm-hmm. Like, it really comes off. And
her and Sarray looked like they had good chemistry.
Oh yeah, and she did a pump knee. It was the finish of the match, and I was like, that legit looked like super good. Like that's one of the better pump knees I've seen. Because people been doing it all. People been using that move like a super kick lately. Like everyone's using it like diarrhea at the mouth and stuff. So it was crazy. Like I was like, oh, she did a good job with that. And I like that stable of her with Priscilla Kelly, or what's Priscilla Kelly's name now?
I forgot her name. Whore?
Gigi Dolan. Gigi Dolan.
Yeah.
I don't remember who JC Jane. I kind of remember her before, but what was her name before it was JC Jane? Do you remember?
I was just having this conversation with somebody.
I can't remember what it was before.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I was just having this conversation too, like a day ago.
But those three look good together. Like it's like Paige had a wrestling children, and this is them. Like is what. In a way,
but it was a decent show. I mean, was it anything spectacular? No, I dug the new look. It was okay. Very intimate. It's nice. Make sure they don't fuck it up.
I want to say one or two more quick notes. Kaden Carter. In the past, I've kind of shat on her because she was really bad in past stuff, but she's
not bad, Pedro. She
was really bad in the past. Yes, she's had really bad performances. She was way improved. Like now, she's way improved over like a year ago. I was impressed. She was
I miss Shotzi Blackheart. She was so perfect for NXT.
Yeah. Even Casey Canizaro, she was one of the lesser people in that match, but she's improved from last year as well, because she was really bad as well.
Well, that shitty 360 sucked.
Yeah. Oh God. The wedding. What did you think of that shit?
You know what? As stupid as it was, the crowd was so into it.
Yeah.
That it made it enjoyable. because the crowd wanted Regal to officiate, and they wanted all these people, and they were shouting all these names, and for Dexter Loomis showing people the axe. That was actually kind of funny because he's like, everybody raise their hand. Does anybody have any objection to these two getting married? All these people raised their hand, and then fucking Dexter Loomis showed everybody an axe, and they put their hands down. That was funny. It's a stupid wedding, but but in my opinion, it was the crowd that got that wedding over because they were so into it.
The crowd was into it. I won't deny that, but I did not enjoy this wedding.
Well, yeah, it's a stupid wedding. You know it's gonna suck, and you know it's gonna be stupid. But I was enjoying the crowd.
Yeah,
I was enjoying the crowd. Especially when they tried to set in Regal in his face, like, who, me? Nah, I'm good. It was just good. It was an okay show, it was all right. Was it anything spectacular? No,
Was it better or worse than Ty and Johnny Mundo getting married?
Oh no, that was what from Lucha Underground. That's way better.
Yeah, that was way better. Yeah, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
Only because you have Matanza in it, so there you go. But
that may be the best wrestling wedding I can think of.
You could tell with NXT 2.0, you could tell it was overproduced by Kevin Dunn because you had 45 different camera angles in one wrestling match in 17 seconds. It was shot like that, which I can't stand. I hate that. But they actually let them wrestle, so I was impressed with that. I thought I was going to get SmackDown or Raw style matches, but I didn't. So I was happy to see that. I had very low expectations going into this show, very low expectations. But I'm going to watch it again next week. Let's see what happens.
Well, I know something Zeus and I watched. The Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view.
Yeah, that was a nice watch. And
you have a new Ring of Honor World Champion, right?
No.
He's still he won the belt from ROH a while back.
That was another show where he won the belt.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And that it's still kind of surprising to think about Bandito as Ring of Honor World Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Because I forgot that he had won it the other day when I was making a comment. And somebody was like, "No, he beat Rouge," and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Damn, all of us that fell off from Ring of Honor. What happened?
Once again, it's silly. I mean, I like Bandito, and I'm all for it. But he's, you really want to cement him as champion. He's got to go toe to toe with Jay Lethal.
Yeah. How come Jay Lethal doesn't have the strap?
Well, I don't know. He didn't even wrestle at this show. He came out. He talked about stuff, and he might be getting over a little injury or something, maybe. Because him and Gresham lost the tag team straps a little bit ago.
Okay.
So whatever you need to do to bring Jay Lethal back and get him toward the top, that's what they need to do, because really, he's their probably, I think he's their best all around guy.
Yeah, as like in terms of charisma on the mic, and he can go in the ring, like the overall presentation, he's really the only act they have that you can say is like got everything covered that you want.
Yeah.
When you remember earlier this year when they had that anniversary show that I watched, going into it, y'all were saying they need to put the belt on Jay Lethal, and I was like, no, they need to keep it on Rouge. She's great, blah blah blah. And then I saw the show, and it was like Rouge was so lazy I was like, oh fuck, he's fallen into that Lucha Brothers trap where they buy into their hype or whatever, and they become lazy fucks, and you're like, oh shit, he just doing lazy shit now. And yeah, so watching Ring of Honor stuff from then to now, yeah, it's like I can go back in time and say y'all were right. They should have put the belt on Jay Lethal at that show. They should have done it then.
Yeah.
Jay Lethal should have had the belt a long time ago.
And that's not. It's not like I don't want Bandito to have the belt, but it would make more.
I get
it's
it, yeah.
better for the company health, I think, if it was on Jay Lethal.
Even if, but the thing is, like, if Jay Lethal had won it and then lost it to Bandito,
right?
You know, but be that as it may, I mean, you know, long live Bandito the King. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's incredibly strong. He's got a whole ton of great moves, and you know, if he can grow into something, you know, he's working on. He's trying to cut some promos and things. So you see a lot of effort out of Bandito still, which, you know, I'm you know, but I think you really need a collision course with Jay Lethal. You know, Jonathan Gresham is, you know, absolutely outstanding in this pure division. I wasn't crazy about him losing to Josh Woods.
Yeah. The wrestling involved in that match was super. Like, the wrestling involved was excellent.
Yeah, the holds and the transitions.
Yeah.
And the moves and things. They did a good job with that.
I didn't like the restart business because I never like restart stuff in matches, and that's just me. It's just my own personal.
Yeah, championship matches. You know, it doesn't feel right to have a restart.
And then the dude he lost the title to, yeah, it was just like he just looks like any other dude. Like, it's just
he's a big dude. He's really athletic, and he's very good. But he's, you know, he's somebody that you know, he needs something. He needs a spark of something.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, the tag team match, you had the Kingdom back together, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven.
Oh,
yeah, Halitosis lady. Was she there? Because they showed a red-haired lady, and they said Matt Taven's girls, and I was like, "Is that Halitosis lady?" She had the mask on, so I couldn't tell for certain if that was Halitosis lady.
Well,
you couldn't reach it.
I don't remember seeing.
Oh, okay. It was after the match.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, them versus the Briscoes, that was a surprisingly good match.
And they won. The Briscoes are kind of, you know, they're not getting back into their stride yet. So
it's a shame, because I would have loved to see the Briscoes elsewhere, but you know, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you know, but I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen. I mean, you think they're going to stay, but you know, who knows? You know how things are going to work out in the next year or so. You know, some they could end up back in a tag league. You know, if COVID, you know, if we can get that under control, you know.
Yeah.
The Briscoes are interesting because they are a team that should almost be. We should be talking about almost like the Dudleys, and by that I mean like they should have had tag team titles everywhere. Like not just Ring of Honor and New Japan. At this point, they should have had, in the WWE and Impact and this and this. Like they should have held the NWA tag titles at some point. Like already, like there's all these things they should have done.
But yeah, everywhere else, I think they.
I mean, I think they should have held them at all these places, but like. They're an interesting discussion in a way because there are so many people who've burned all kind of bridges or were given multiple chances in wrestling. Like they did something wrong. They're given multiple chances, not just second chances, not just third chances. Sometimes people are given like a gazillion chances.
Yeah.
The Briscoes, they've said some things when they were younger, and it's been a barrier for them continuously. They've never gotten like any chance to get over that past stuff. I mean, we don't have to get into, the things they said or whatever. I'm just saying that there are people who said and did much worse things, as we will discuss later.
Oh.
And they've been given like multiple chances. The Briscoes they've just been like, no, we cannot let them. They must stay in this tiny hole.
I just wonder if I could wear a bathrobe and run up and down the street in a helicopter, see if I get in trouble.
No.
I'll have a heart attack and die first.
Oh my God.
I think
That'd be a hell of a way to go.
Woo!
They had that 6-man match. Shane Taylor Enterprises against.
Yeah. Who are they facing?
It was kind of a fun match.
Yeah.
What was the best match on the card?
In my opinion, it was the pure title match.
Yeah.
But it's between that and the Briscoes Kingdom match, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I wasn't crazy for the main event. There were sequences I liked, but like there are also just lots of just kind of. I mean, Brody King didn't really do a ton of stuff in that match. He was just kind of there. EC3 was just there. EC3, yeah, EC3 was just there waiting to do that angle where he got disqualified. And most of the match was Flamita and Bandito, and I was like, why didn't they just have a singles match? Why didn't they just have Bandito versus Flamita? Would have been a better match.
Because it's a pay-per-view, and they can only do so many matches, and they're trying to get everybody into it.
That women's title final, the match was fine. They did a lot of wrestling. They're kind of sloppy at points, but I mean, it was fine. I thought they did good for considering how young everyone involved were in that match. But I was just surprised they had these two kids in the finals. They could have had much bigger, better names, I felt. But
I thought that that Max the Impaler was going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, what happened to her?
I don't know. She got DQ'd or something. I don't know.
The new champion, right?
No. Oh yeah,
Roxy's the new champion.
Roxy's the new champion. It's some 19-year-old girl from Laredo, Texas. She's from Booker T's promotion, Reality Wrestling.
Ah, okay.
Now she's
like I said. I mean, for their age, I mean, they're very good, and they did a good job.
Yeah,
you felt like they hated each other, and you felt like they were
told a good story.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Like I said,
the
it's kind of a lot of antics going on in that 6-man match.
That 6-man match was more about that angle than about like really the match. But that kind of, like you said, it made it a fun watch, even if it wasn't a great match. It was a fun kind of deal. The whole deal with Shane Taylor and what's his name? Something King. What's the guy's name? Last name King, right?
Who's that?
The guy Shane Taylor. He attacked Shane Taylor before the match with the chair.
Yeah, Kenny King.
Kenny King, yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny King.
He's a good heel.
Yeah, Kenny King is interesting because sometimes you see him wrestle a match and you're like, man, he has all the potential in the world. He looks great. He moves great, blah, blah, blah. Then sometimes I've seen him just phone it in. Like he just phone in stuff and not be, not just seem like anybody. And in that match, he was doing a good job, I thought. Like all around, he was better than his partners. Rush's father, Basia, was hilarious because he didn't do shit. He wouldn't bump, he wouldn't sell, he wouldn't do anything. He didn't want to go off his feet at all. He was
I'm tired. Just
He was very. He reminded me a lot of Boogie Woogie Man and in the late days and Junkyard Dog. It's like, nope.
Yeah, Junkyard Dog never wanted to get off his feet in the later days. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. He gets hit in the head with a school bus. He's still standing.
Yeah. It was a fun show. It was fun to watch. It wasn't like there's nothing that you need to go out of your way to see, in my opinion. But it was entertaining.
But it was enjoyable. Yeah.
Demonic Flamita's promo was pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job with the character stuff. He has been for a while.
I mean, for somebody who's not known for that, I was very impressed. I was like, hey man, Rocket, you keep doing that shit.
If you go back,
promos are better than Andrade's.
Oh yeah. If you go back and watch some of the Ring of Honor stuff this year, and you see kind of the disillusion of the team of him and Bandito and Ray Horace, and it's Flamito keeps getting angry and then pretending like he's going to get back with them and then backstabbing them. It plays out all over again in that 4-way match. Like, so that's just a hilarious thing that Bandito keeps falling for it. Like throughout the whole Ring of Honor this year, he keeps falling for this thing, and then Flamito's like,
Ring of Honor strap's a good looking strap, man. I always like that belt. It's good looking.
The new women's belt is based on that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
It's very. I like it quite a bit.
It's nice. I like it. I dig it. It's nice.
But I mean, that Roxy, she, like I said, she's got her work cut out for her because there's if they keep a lot of those women around that were in that tournament, she's gonna have a hard time holding on to it.
Mm.
I mean, Allison Kay, Marty Bell, that, like I said, that Maxie Impaler, she's just a beast. I mean,
Marty Bell, she's good. I like Marty Bell.
Mm-hmm. And Marty Bell and Allison Kay won the NWA Women's Tag Team titles.
Those belts have like a turquoise-looking strap, or like isn't it like kind of a turquoise or blue-green kind of?
I think they are.
I think so. So okay, NXT, Jackson Pollock, Big E, Ring of Honor. G1 started this morning.
I got to catch up on G1.
Yeah, we won't go into any of that, but I'll just say, without giving any spoilers or anything, that what was it? Zack Sabre Jr. Naito was super good, and this one just goes without saying. Ishii and Shingo is fantastic. So everyone will enjoy those two matches a lot.
Okay. I look forward to watching it.
So now it's time, James. It's time.
Yes,
Can I just say one thing before that host?
Yes.
Before we start on the plane ride from hell and Vice and Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
Adam Cole made his AEW debut. And he had a match with Frankie Kazarian. And it was a good match. It was nothing spectacular. It was good. We've seen a lot worse and we've seen a lot better. And that crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," like a minute and a half into that match. I'm like, wow. This crowd is chanting for mediocrity because there was nothing spectacular going on in that match. It was a paint-by-numbers Adam Cole match. And I'm like, are they that hype? Are they that star for mediocrity in the ring?
It's they do this any show, like it's not just at All Out and it's not just for Adam Cole's thing. They will do this for any show and basically any match. The AEW crowd they just feel compelled to give praise to the gospel of TK. So it's just a thing. They're just
because Adam Cole had about, I can run off 10 straight matches off the top of my head from NXT that were 10 times better than what I saw on fucking Wednesday and Dynamite.
But it didn't happen.
They're chanting like, this is awesome, like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
James, it didn't happen in AEW, so it didn't happen.
That's right. It never happened. It never happened. I'm sorry. The world's greatest television wrestling program on a Wednesday ever. Yeah.
Shout out to YYH in the chat room. And yes, Peter.
Double Y, double H, Y2H2, pizza. Yes, I like a pizza. Pizza.
We were all happy to see her back with Yujiro.
Okay, now you may dive into the greatest plane ride in the history of plane rides.
Oh no! This so yeah, y'all get into it. Dark Side of the Ring. We've all seen it now. All three of us have seen it. So
yeah, it's so. If you don't know, it was after the day after the Insurrection 2001 pay-per-view in England.
2002.
2002.
Not 2001, 2002.
Oh, 2002. Shit, I
yeah.
thought it was 2000. Why did I think it was 2001? Well, then that messes everything up. Then, and I'd been looking at
what?
Right. So, yeah. So the card was God. The dark match was Mr. Perfect beating Goldust. Then Eddie beat Eddie got beat by Rob Van Dam by DQ for the Intercontinental title. Jacqueline and Trish defeated Jazz and Molly Holly. X-Pac defeated Bradshaw. Booker T beat Steven Richards. The Hardys beat Lesnar and Stasiak.
Stasiak, Jesus.
Dr. Stan Stasiak. Sean Stasiak.
Meat. Oh shit.
Spike
I'm
Dudley.
sorry to interrupt. Oh my God.
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm watching Cheaters. And this guy and this girl are arguing, and this guy clocked this girl in the face and busted her open. Holy shit, she busted open like Mick Foley.
That sounds like the plane ride. Stone Cold beat the Big Show, and Triple H beat the Undertaker. And apparently Crash Holly was involved.
He was on that card?
Yeah.
He was on that card, Crash Holly?
Yeah, it said he later following the match, Crash Holly pinned Booker T, who later pinned Crash to gain the title. Richards later pinned Booker T to return the title to himself.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the that's the particulars of that.
I mean, that's not a bad sounding card if you think about it.
Right. And I mean, apparently, apparently made a lot of money. I mean, it's only 9,300 people that went. I mean, wow. I don't know whether they gave me the impression it was a big crowd and a good show or what. Maybe just everybody felt good about their performance or something.
Right.
But Finkel was there, Lillian Garcia, Terry Reynolds, Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, Nick Patrick, Jimmy Corderas, Earl Hebner, Jack Doan, and Chad Patton were the referees, according to Wikipedia. So, they talked to.
What happened to Mike Chioda?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he was just there, not working. But I mean, it seems like he's. It's silly not to have a guy that, he was experienced even then, I thought. But yeah, so then following following that show was the plane ride from hell, where they were stuck on the tarmac for 7 hours apparently, and and then that's a long ass flight after that. So
they were stuck on a tarmac for 7 hours before a 7-hour flight.
Right.
So you had all these guys on a plane, getting drunk, popping pills, God knows doing what else,
and
it led to a lot of shit. Now, a lot of this stuff is the public knowledge is known already.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about Flair and his robes. He's been doing that for God knows how long, right? Everybody knows that all these guys get fucking hammered on the plane. These guys have been getting drunk for a long time, getting pilled up for a long time. This is all common knowledge. Okay? What happened during the episode Dark Side of the Ring, where they told it from the perspective of the flight attendant.
Yeah, that's something we've never seen before.
Right. And some of the things that were omitted in WWE's version of it, because they put out cartoons over this, and all told stories, and the stuff that's been omitted was Flair actually forced the flight attendants to touch his dick. Dustin Runnels is telling some other flight attendant that she ain't gonna fuck. Scott Hall told some other flight attendant that I'm gonna lick. That after he licked his face, he's gonna lick her body or God knows what. So there's been some shit going on, and not good.
Right. And I mean, just heavy drug use.
Yeah.
Heavy drug use. Like they said, a lot of guys were doing GHB themselves, and then they were using it on other people. I mean,
they fucking roofie themselves. That's some new shit. I mean, I know. Well, hey, I'm gonna take a roofie. I'm gonna knock myself out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
and then RBD talking about hey, listen, this is what we used to do back in the day. We used to gimmick the local girls and have our way with them. That's some shit right there.
Rob Van Dam said that's what they did. That's not what he said he did.
Right. They did. Well, okay, sure.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, after 16, after 16 blunts, who knows what he remembers? But yeah.
I mean, we knew wrestlers did stuff like that. I mean, I'm not making light of the stuff happening. I'm just saying,
emphasizing that these are shitty people from they're historically shitty people.
Yeah,
I mean, we can all get into Kurt Hennig and all the shit that he's done.
Yeah.
Well, allegedly, once again.
Allegedly,
reportedly.
Right, and he was reportedly notorious for doing it.
Yeah.
Open secret.
And then Scott Hall. When you talk about him and people are like, oh, he used to have all those problems, and I'm like, he still has them.
Yeah.
You brought up that point about wrestle cages. That was a very good point. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
If you're having problems, speaking English and eating a cheeseburger, then that's
So the biggest so this is stuff that was pretty much already known, to the extent where we were like, okay, we did not know from the flight attendant's point of view. What also came out of this episode was Tommy Dreamer.
Oh man, telling you.
Now, Zeus, you said it best when asked about a subject like this in front of a TV camera, which is going to be shown on a national audience. Your best bet is to probably say, I had a little bit too much to drink. I don't remember.
I've
been
dropped on my head a lot.
I had too many chair shots. Something, right?
I mean, every wrestler on that plane has an excuse to say they don't remember anything by just saying, oh, I must have got H-bombed. I must have,
Right.
etc.
Instead, after Rob Van Dam said he witnessed Ric Flair
Yeah.
trying to, make the stewardess forcibly touch his penis, here, grab my dick, in a corner where fucking Goldust had to pull Ric Flair off of her and say, come on, stop. Tommy Dreamer goes, oh, that's just Flair being Flair.
Tommy Dreamer was saying it was nothing sexual. He just flaunting.
Right.
He's just flaunting.
He's just styling and profiling.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
And then on top of that, he victim shames the flight attendant and said, well, if it was that bad, you should have took a payment. Holy shit. Now, that may have been the behavior and acceptable back then. Okay, I'm not condoning it, but I'm just telling you what the way it was with a lot of wrestlers back then, how all of us heard stories. But you can't say shit like that now. You got to be sensitive to the culture.
You got to be self-aware.
You have to be self-aware. You cannot be tone deaf like this. Yeah. You can't go out and arbitrarily just protect Ric Flair. Oh, he protected one of the boys. You can't do that. You can't say shit like that. And the way he said it was like, yeah, so matter of fact, like, yeah, whatever. She's just making shit up or whatever.
Well, he literally equated people being offended by that kind of behavior as the same way that people might be offended by his hair.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I'm just like going, look, man, it's 2021. You're not in ECW anymore. You gotta, and he's been an upper level, story guy, booker guy with Impact.
Yeah.
I don't understand, why you would, did he not see the red light on the camera? Hey, we're recording right now,
And then as a result, Impact suspended him. He got canceled. And then as a result of this too, Flair's commercial with Clark Shield and Eli Drake got canceled. Put on pause. I was told to pause. So, you have to realize that if you're going to open them up these days, shit like this is going to happen. Now I'm waiting for the floodgates to happen. Yeah, because after this one flight attendant came out, who knows how many more are going to start coming out? Oh, yeah. #Me too. This happened to me too with Flair or with X wrestler or with this wrestler or with that wrestler. Because as soon as one says something, it's bound to come out.
Well, last year you had the speaking out deal.
Yeah.
And that was mostly about the British scene and some about the indie scene over here.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really get into the past, although everyone just said, oh yeah, we all know the bad stuff from the past because unfortunately, we all do know like all these crazy stories about stuff from the past.
Not for nothing. I'm a big Tommy Dreamer fan. ECW original, but you can't say shit like that. Somebody needs to smack him.
Well,
you cannot say shit like that, Pedro. You can't.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying you.
Oh, should. Okay. I thought you was like, well,
I was gonna say, well, you said someone should smack him. I was gonna say, well, he's been suspended indefinitely by Impact.
Yeah. Yeah, they laid the smackdown on his ass.
Yeah. You can't. First of all, victim shaming is never right. You should never blame the victim. Never. B, you can't equate it, just like you said, you can't equate something like that because that's trauma. That causes trauma to his hair because all you're doing is trivializing it.
So there was also the incident where, they said that Michael P.S. Hayes can't handle, the drugs and the alcohol.
Yep.
At this point in his life, and he just walked over to John Bradshaw Layfield and just punched him right in the spot where he, bled the night before for no reason with no warning. just sucker punched him right in the fucking cut and busted him open. And apparently
he's lucky he didn't get his ass kicked.
Well, he did because he got up. JBL got up and slapped him so hard it knocked him out.
But it could have been a lot worse.
Right. It could have been a lot worse. And then, you know, who knows what exactly happened. And, you know, they got separated. And then, you know, Hayes is out. And then X-Pac takes it upon himself to go over and cut Michael Hayes' ponytail off with a pair of scissors. And I'm reading from this one article in Bleacher Report saying that, you know, talking about where Waltman he'd given his version of this in a shoot interview. He also had said that Hayes had almost taken a piss on Linda McMahon while in flight.
Oh shit!
Really?
That sounds really familiar. I feel like we've heard this before.
See, here's my question: where's Vince in all this?
He probably would find it funny.
Because Vince wants to be one of the boys.
And we know that, and I believe this is also where isn't this the same flight where Vince was wrestling Angle on the plane? Or was that
I think that's a different one.
Okay.
I think that's apparently my understanding. There's been multiple plane rides from hell. Like this is the most famous one, but there's been multiple ones.
Yeah, and then we had the other wrestling match that we know occurred on this was Brock Lesnar and Kurt Hennig. Decided to try to wrestle each other on a fucking flight in 30,000 feet above the ground.
If them two would have got sucked out of the airplane, oh my god! Imagine.
You gotta realize that Lesnar's what, 2 years since he won the fucking NCAA national fucking championship in heavyweight freestyle wrestling.
Yeah,
it's like, you had to be drunk and high.
Yeah. Why would you pick a fight with that?
To be Kurt Hennig and think that you're gonna be able to do anything with that fucking monster. And so
that's when Lesnar was swollen too. He was huge, Jesus.
Yeah, so
he was like what, 280 back then? Fucking 270, something like that. Lesnar.
When he was fighting in UFC, he was fighting at the 265-pound weight, but he was cutting like 30 pounds to get there. So he was sitting. He used to walk around at 300 pounds for a lot.
So he was probably close to 300 when he started wrestling.
Right.
Fucking Hennig. Jesus, man, why would you fuck around with that? I'm good. I'll pass. No thanks.
Well, he was full of himself and he was drunk and high.
Yeah.
Apparently, the in-flight takedown contest was something of a tradition, according to this article as well. Vince McMahon and Kurt Angle engaged in a similar battle on a previous flight, obviously with no repercussions. So
you would think, it's amazing. It's just amazing at the behavior of some of these people, you don't get enough of a high with 50,000 people screaming your name and that, you got to do shit on a plane like that. That to me, 7 hours. I'm fucking sleepy. I got my headphones on. I'm sleeping. I'm tired. Fuck you. I'm going to bed. But apparently you couldn't even do that because if they caught you sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it just Incredible who was talking about you would have shades on your head, so if someone touched your shades, it would wake you up?
That was Mike Chioda said that, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, that's
it's. I mean, it's ridiculous. And now, I'm sure they're going to be. Now, I'm just waiting for the other show. But this is going to lead to something else.
Maybe.
It is, because it's getting too much traction. Too much. I mean, you got to remember something. All the episodes, right? All the really bad episodes, the shit with Grizzly Smith, the shit with Tom Billington, Dynamite Kid, they're all dead. These two, I mean, Ric Flair's alive and his name is out there and he's been making the tour and he's doing this, doing that. It's a different story now.
Dustin's featured prominently in AEW.
Exactly, it's different now. These people are still around and are prominent. They're on our TVs every week.
If say next year in September, we're talking about, Flair doing stuff on AEW or something like that, I'm not going to be the least bit surprised. Because I don't really believe there's going to be these repercussions you think there.
Well, they were setting it up for Flair to come to Andrade's aid. Now I don't know if that's going to happen right away. I'm sure it'll still happen, but when, I don't know.
I mean, and if we talk about, Tommy Dreamer's back with on Impact.
Well, it's going to be,
if we talk
they have to do something.
Someone may disappear for a little while, and then they're going to be back. I'm
just waiting for somebody to sign Velveteen Dream. It's bound to happen.
I don't know. I mean,
same thing with Marty Scurll. It's bound to happen.
I don't think so. I think it's more likely that they end up booking themselves on a show that they do themselves than they get hired by somebody else. I mean, but can you imagine like a show with Marty Scurll agained David Starr and Joey Ryan and Velveteen.
Yeah, Joey Ryan, Velveteen, 4-way match.
They're with Tessa Blanchard and
Tessa Blanchard. Yeah, fucking nobody's touching her.
I mean, I think eventually Tessa will show up someplace, but they're still waiting.
But herself to blame.
They're still waiting for stuff to die down from last year.
Yeah,
but she didn't have any problems on WoW, did she?
I mean, who knows? I mean, that's the honest answer. No one knows. I mean, she has had so much bad blood with other girls and stuff on like her whole career, so it's hard to say if who knows. She's so young, right? What is she? 23,
something like 20, that. Yeah,
24. I'm not, and that's not an excuse for bad behavior or something, but I mean, people do dumb things when they're young, especially if you got people giving you all this hype, right? If you got people giving you all this hype and stuff, people can stay, a teenager for a really long time, like in their heads. So,
Kenny Omega?
Who knows? I mean, who knows?
The number one PWI, brutal.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, this,
I'm not. It could happen. I mean,
I'm going to say this: Dark Side of the Ring has been doing it. But the first half of the season was awesome. The thing with Brian Pillman's story was great. The fucking Grizzly Smith shit just blew me. I was blown away. I was like, wow, they really got away with saying all that shit. And the shit with Tom Billington, I mean, they said they recreated with Tom Billington, they pulled a shotgun on his wife. That was some shit, So, he put a shotgun right to top, he put a shotgun right to his wife's head.
Okay. The Dark Side of the Ring is doing all this stuff, but okay. So say in this episode, they, from the point of view of this one flight attendant, on the one hand, she reprimands Dustin Rhodes for taking the mic and all that stuff, but then she forgives him because he saves her from Flair. And you get Jim Ross saying, like, Dustin had a lot of problems, but we gave him a second chance. He's better now, and all this stuff. And then you see from the lawsuit that came out from the other flight attendant who was not on this show, Dustin Reynolds did more than just singing drunkenly on.
Yes, he did.
But that wasn't covered at all, or even hinted at.
No.
They try to put him in a good light.
Well, the Kurt Hennig stuff wasn't hinted at either.
And Dustin Rhodes is in a company that's also with Jim Ross and also with the narrator of this episode.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Pedro.
I bring it up because you're saying they're doing this great job, and I'm saying you need to always, anything that's documentary based, you always need to keep in mind there is a filter of propaganda in everything.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying there isn't, but here's my point about doing such a good job is that they were exposing these people and doing like all the negativity that they did. But there's one glaring difference. Everybody they've done, Grizzly Smith, Tom Billington, Brian Pillman, they're dead. These guys are alive and they're thriving right now. They're thriving. They're on TV. Their name is in the public. The Tommy Dreamers every week's on Impact. So is Dustin Runnels. So is Ric Flair's on TV making commercials, making the tour now. They're out there every week. You see their faces and their tweets and their commercials, etc., etc., etc. That's my point.
Oh, okay,
like,
James.
What happens now? Because these guys are prevalent.
James, did they do an episode about Jimmy Superfly Snuka?
Yes, they did.
And did they not heavily imply that Vince McMahon helped cover up for?
Absolutely.
And did they do an episode on Owen Hart?
Yes.
And did they run Vince McMahon through the mud and stuff in that episode?
Yeah, but so did everybody. But
Was Vince McMahon,
everybody did.
Is he dead?
No. Of course not. But Vince McMahon's a target for everyone. You know that. All of us shit on McMahon. All of us have. He's always been a target.
Pro wrestling is held in such a weird place in terms of pop culture. I don't think it's going to catch the traction you think it is going to.
I disagree. Only because unless that woman has stated in her settlement that the other flight attendant that unless she can't speak on things because of her settlement, after watching it, I'm sure.
My understanding is both flight attendants signed NDAs, but
really?
We don't know if no one knows if the statute ran out or
gotcha.
if the one who talked just broke it. We don't know.
But like how many other flight attendants are there out there?
Surely when they signed that in 2004, that Vince McMahon was thinking, well, surely in 15 years, Ric Flair will be retired.
True.
Yeah, no one can talk about this anymore because Ric Flair is going to be such a non-factor that it won't affect anything or anybody, And nobody's going to do anything stupid at that point, like defend him,
Well, no, Ric Flair's putting figure fours on Conan in Mexico. Yeah, brutal.
I mean, here's another thing, James. Would you say that the music industry is much more prominent, prestigious, and famous industry than pro wrestling?
Yes.
Okay. So Me Too happened, and not a single bit of thing was thrown on, like, the Rolling Stones, on Led Zeppelin, on David Bowie, on Ted Nugent, on like.
Stop right there.
No.
Stop right there. Yes,
We
stop
can
right there.
keep
Because that
naming
is a
names.
different culture, and that was a different culture, and a lot of women
James.
back then felt it was quote unquote a badge of honor to be with these guys. It's different than it is today. Because look at R. Kelly, music industry. Look what happened to him.
It
His
took
shit got exposed.
took a long time. People knew
Yeah,
about him for decades, James. They knew
exactly. But
about R. Kelly for decades.
right, just like they knew about the Rolling Stones for decades. Right.
These people,
Well,
all the big acts we
I've
mentioned
never
are
seen
acts.
anybody try to cancel the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, no one's trying to cancel them for
Yeah.
being with underage girls. No one's trying to cancel like any. I mean, we're saying that I'm saying these names. You can name basically any rock star from the past, who knows how many decades, and put a plus sign underage.
Right. No, I'm sure.
XYZ.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
It's just in this day
The
and age.
music industry is much bigger visual in the public's eye
Absolutely.
than pro
Absolutely.
wrestling.
Absolutely.
If that stuff won't even get touched, if that stuff
Well, first of
won't
all,
get
you're
traction,
not getting a program like that based on the music industry. You know, you're just coming off a TV program that exposed a known rumor, a known thing that Flair did. Everybody knew that he did it. But now it's coming out that he made a woman touch his dick. Now it gets different. Now it's different because you actually hearing from the victim herself in this day, in this culture. Now,
I don't think
and then
Vice
you got
is
a
that
guy
big a network.
defending it, and then you have a guy defending it. Now, that's the difference. That's the difference.
I don't think it's going to catch traction like you think. It's a tiny network. It's a tiny cable network. It's not like
It was trending on Twitter. It was like #3 worldwide, so it caught on.
It was trending. Well, it's trending for us because we follow like wrestling.
Worldwide, Pedro.
I don't know.
Worldwide, it was trending. So it's not just it's the non-wrestling fan too, because even non-wrestling people know who Ric Flair is.
So let's see.
I'm not saying that it's going to be big or it's going to be like Me Too again. I'm just saying I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. So if something's not finished here, it just feels like that. Something else is going to come out. Something else is going to drop. Somebody's going to say something. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to be huge.
I'm going through the news headlines on various sites. Not a single mention.
Okay.
And I mean,
it's carny business. It's press. It's wrestling.
The whole, that whole, culture is, it's terrible what so many of these guys did. It really is, and it it's been happening for so long. Guys like us, we sit there and I mean, we're still disgusted, of course, but having heard, honestly, we've heard worse. There's, I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling." I'm like, you didn't watch the death of Bruiser Brody? Yeah. I'm like, he was literally stabbed to death in the shower, and he got away with it with the help of an entire fucking United States territory, the whole fucking corrupt government, and all these other fucking people did all the. I'm like, that's fucking disturbing. He died. He was killed. He was killed.
It was a massive cover up. Yeah.
And the stupidity behind having Owen Hart having to go back to being fucking Blue Blazer and rappelling from the fucking ceiling. I mean, the stupidity of some of these things that have led to deaths of people. Nobody fucking, getting a hold of fucking, Benoit and saying, "Look, man, you got to take some time off and get your fucking head straight." Nobody thinks that, that all the stigma against seeing a shrink, that people think, It's like, oh, well, people are going to think I'm crazy. Well, in some cases it was true.
Yeah.
And I mean, to what you're saying, Zeus,
I mean, look at all the shit that New Jack has done.
to what you're saying, Zeus, about just on Benoit, imagine in this wrestling circle, that bubble or whatever, the thing about people beating up their women or something, it's just like no, it's just like, well, what's your,
and then his poor son had to know something about what was going on.
But I'm saying in that industry, how many were just like, oh, they beat their wife too, like, oh yeah, well, who doesn't, right? I could see that being a thing, like it plays into what you're saying.
Yeah,
we've heard these stories forever, like so we're like, oh, it's just people think that's a big deal because we've heard this a long time, but these are younger people getting it through this TV show. They're getting it packaged to them, and it's like, oh, like new thing, it's new information for them. And so as you were both saying, it's like this generation is like, oh my god, like this happened. Yeah, but I still don't think wrestling is going to be something like this happening in wrestling. I don't see it making a big splash in the general public. We'll see.
I mean, there's nothing I want more than for shit to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this was something that bothered me in that episode. Jim Ross tried to say that, the generations that came after, they saw what the older guys were doing, and we're like, no, we're not going to do that. And they're not doing all this bad stuff. And what we were just mentioning earlier, the speaking out thing from last year, we know that the people who are on TV now, their peers and stuff that they've come up with have been doing the exact same stuff that all these, bad old people were doing, all these bad generations were doing.
They're just doing it digitally.
Yeah, well, they're doing it differently, and the same cycles continue because the old people, guess what the old generations taught the newer generations, and those generations teach the next one, and they pass on these bad things.
Yeah.
It still goes on, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want y'all to think I'm defending anything.
No.
Yeah, my deal here, I just don't. I disagree with James, and I don't think this is going to be a big social media thing. That
the reason why I say it is, Pedro, is because the man is prevalent still. His face is on TV everywhere. He's not dead where they could say, "Oh well, you know what? Good for him. He's not dead anyway." It's not like that. Everybody's talking about him getting signed by AEW. His fucking commercials are everywhere now. The whole car show shit. He's Ric Flair. He's everywhere. He's old and he's still styling and profiling. He'll never retire. He'll never die. Just like he says, right? So it's prevalent in the wrestling world. So it's good. When are we going to say? I mean, is Tony Khan going to do? Okay, I'm going to take advantage of it and I sign him anyway. So you know what? I'll get more eyes to my product. Or is he going to be decent and say, you know what? I'm going to step back a little bit. So it does become prevalent.
Do y'all remember Ashley? Was that her name? The one who was
Massaro? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember she went through what she went through on that USO trip or whatever?
Yeah.
Where she was sexually assaulted, and everyone told her to be quiet because of this, and then eventually led to her, her various demons and stuff. She ended up ending her life. She tried to tell people stuff. No one listened. Maria Kanellis has more than once through the past few years tried to say stuff. No one paid attention to her.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the culture that they're in. It's that they don't want to hear it.
I mean, just last year when the speaking out stuff, she tried to say stuff again, and people still just like, oh, it's her saying her usual thing. Like, we know that was a bad thing.
And isn't that horrible that when a fad catches on, and somebody who's been constant and saying the same things, then they get shit on. That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's where we love, but we all love wrestling. We've all grown up watching it. We've seen wrestling from all over the world, from all kind of decades. Like we're like hardcore wrestling fans, and it's weird, like finding this thing where you're like, how do you keep watching this thing when the people involved are like monsters? Which most of them are. Most of them are like monstrous people. It's weird.
Yeah.
And they still get chances after chances after chances. Even even if you take the sexual stuff out of it, right? Look how many chances Jeff Hardy's gotten, Shawn Michaels has gotten. I mean, come on, how many stories you heard? Shawn Michaels couldn't even stand up backstage because he was so pilled up. How many shoot interviews you hear with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are so fucked up? They're calling for the finish in the match 2 minutes into the match.
I mean, didn't Marty Jannetty, didn't he talk about him and Sean used to roofie date girls?
Yeah.
Now, the problem with Jannetty being credible is
well, that's a whole different issue.
If he said it before 1999, I might have some weight into it. But,
that's true.
He is going through this downward spiral about,
oh man.
Well, I'm fucking the girl might be my daughter, but
God, I can't.
Yeah, remember that? Oh, that was tough to swallow, man. I was like, oh, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah. If you can find those posts, oh my God,
let's do a little palate cleanse here. Let's talk about no. I mean, just like as a conversely thing here, because I mean, the dark side of wrestling is
dark.
Terrible. So let's just name a couple people. Try to name a couple people who, have been, overall, good people in wrestling.
I mean, there have been good people going back in the day. I mean, like even when we were growing up watching, everybody wanted to be like Tito Santana. He was a good guy. He was a good family man.
I've never heard anything bad about Tito Santana.
Never. He was a good family guy. Saved his money. He even quit wrestling to become a teacher because teaching was his passion.
Pedro, you ever heard anything bad about Tito?
No, I can't think of anything bad I've ever heard about Tito. I've heard people say they didn't like Tito like as a wrestler, but I never heard anyone say anything bad about him.
No, he wasn't into the field. He wasn't into.
The only way you can not like Tito, I guess, is if you were like in that, school of Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah, right. If you were Greg Valentine, I could see you not liking Tito.
See, I agree with you. Tito Santana, if you go through if you don't have to go through his whole career, just go through like that section of the 80s. Just go through, like the like say 83 or whatever through, 89. Just go through that section of him in the WWF. That guy, he had like legit good matches with like so many different kinds of wrestlers.
Yeah.
And like there's kind of a joke, they put him in a lot of time limit draws, but those were fun matches. Like I don't know why anyone can not like him as a wrestler, because he was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed Tito Santana quite a bit. I mean, he was him and Rick Martel were, they were great together. Certainly a shitload better than that Can-Am connection.
Oh my God! Don't.
Z-Man.
Yeah, I can't. I was a Tito Santana guy. I thought he was a good guy.
Yeah. And Mad Superstar. Now, you've never heard anybody people say bad shit about Mad Superstar.
Never a bad word about Mad Superstar. Nope.
I mean, I've heard bad people say bad shit about Andre and other people.
Well, Andre was like, if Andre didn't like you, you were fucked.
Yeah. But Bad News Brown, I don't think I ever heard anything bad about him.
Bad News Brown, yeah.
I mean, I've heard that he could maybe like be hard on new guys.
I
I've
can
heard
see
that
that.
before.
Yeah.
That he
Well,
could
a
be
lot of people
sometimes.
will like that, though, right?
Like a lot of wrestlers, he could have been very protective of his spot at times as well. So there is that too. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. But
No, it's not. It's you know, that could be considered protecting what you work for.
yeah.
Hey, listen, I made it up to the spot. I'm gonna do what I can to keep it.
I mean, I'm sure nobody's, anybody that walked in the ring with Wahoo McDaniel,
I pity their chest.
you know he was going to chop the life out of you. No matter if you were, Ric Flair or Mike Jackson or, Johnny Valentine. He was going to lay into your ass and you were going to feel it for a week.
Wahoo McDaniel would have been proud of Ishii Shingo today.
Yeah, they throwing some chops.
I mean, come on! I'm not Tomohiro Ishii. Never a bad word from that guy.
I'm never gonna mention any Japanese wrestlers. Not because of stuff I heard. It's just that that like culture is like so secretive in a way.
Yeah.
Like they don't get into like shoot or whatever. They don't get into like revealing all the secrets and stuff. So it's like it's better not to venture because who knows what could come out, right? So
I see Dark Side of the Ring's doing a thing on XPW. I can't wait to see that.
Aren't they doing Chris Canyon?
Talk about shit.
Yeah,
Chris Canyon next week.
I don't know if Kane is next week. I think it's Johnny K9 next week.
Is it Canyon?
I thought I heard it was Chris Canyon, but
I don't know if Kane is next week. I don't know if he's next week. I know they're doing Canyon, but I don't know if it's next week. I know they're doing Johnny K9. They're doing Chris Canyon. They're doing XPW. They're doing Onita and FMW.
XPW is gonna be so crazy. That's gonna be crazy.
I think the FMW is going to be worse.
I don't know, man. I mean, the FMW guys, they all walked in, together, and they had an understanding, and I think those fucking guys for XPW, because so many of those guys were like, they were all green, all that homegrown talent was green as fuck, and just from that California independent scene, and they didn't have a lot of stuff underneath them, and then
and then we had Lizzie Borden on top of it.
Right, yeah, all those
who was the guy who got like his fingers cut off because of the drug stuff? Messiah, yeah.
Well, they sent him to they were going to kill him. Is what he started sleeping with Lizzie Borden, who was Rob Black's wife.
Yep.
Rob Black's the owner promoter, and apparently they were sleeping together. And he sent like 2 or 3 guys to the Messiah's apartment, and they were gonna like cut his fingers off and kill him.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing that on something else. I don't remember what that was.
FMW should be interesting. I'm interested in the Canyon. And then they got Johnny K9. I forgot his real name. But he was the one that he was in the actual Banco gang. He was in a biker gang at the time, and he did some crazy shit, like he robbed a bank right before a wrestling match or some shit like that. I don't know, but it should be interesting. Everybody just wants to be Tito Santana. Just do the Tito thing.
Right? Yeah. Just be more like Tito. Be more
just be like Tito. Everybody wants to be like Tito.
Be like Man Superstar. Be like, you know.
Or you can be like Stan Hansen and run over a belt.
Shitbag. Don't be a shitbag.
I'm Stan Hansen. Yo, you want your belt? Hold on, here's some tire tracks on the face. I would love them to do a story on Hansen. Because Hansen couldn't see. He's blind. He was clotheslining people. He couldn't see. He was taking people's heads off and shit.
Oh, Stan Hansen would approve of Shingo.
Oh my God!
I'm just
really?
gonna keep promoting this. When y'all see this, you're gonna be like, "Oh."
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this weekend.
Oh, do they have it tomorrow? Let me check.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's
Okay.
usually one night and then the other night.
Yeah, let me check here.
And then a break and then night and a night.
Okay, so they got New Japan Strong tonight. By the way, I'm kind of surprised at that. Then tomorrow, yeah, there's so on G1 today was the start, the first night. Tomorrow more. Then let's see, Thursday and Friday. You got some more, and the Friday show is free for people to watch online. So
nice.
That's cool.
Let me see real quick what the lineup is for tomorrow.
Since the Giants painstakingly lost on Thursday, I think I'll watch that on Sunday. Because I need a break from football.
Yoshihashi versus Evil. Jeff Cobb versus Chase Owens. Sonata versus Tama Tonga. Hiroki Goto versus Taichi. And Tanahashi versus Okada. That's tomorrow, James. Okada,
Really?
Tanahashi.
That should be good.
Goto, Taichi. That's going to be good. I know you.
Yeah, that should be good too.
Yeah, I know you don't like Taichi.
No, I don't like Taichi. Fuck him.
But I like him.
I want to shove that plastic mic so far up his ass.
All the Emperor Taichi.
You could have kept that to yourself, but
I just don't like it. The whole singing. I just want to punch him in the face. I hate it.
Yeah.
Watching the intros.
Oh man, Thursday's looking good.
His choice of tag team partners can't be too respected because look who he's picking as a tag team partner.
Check out Thursday. Thursday you got Toru Yano versus Great Okan, Kenta versus Yujiro, Naito versus Tonga Loa, Ibushi versus Ishii, and Shingo versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Ooh.
And then let me see the free show on Friday. You've got Tanahashi versus Goto, Tama Tonga versus Chase Owens, Yoshihashi versus Jeff Cobb, Sonata versus Taichi, and Okada versus Evil. So, yeah,
I like Okada to smack Evil around a little bit.
G1, baby. Oh yes,
I have something to promote. So
yes.
Oh yeah, what's up, Zeus?
So all right, so there's a Twitter account called Who Would Win, and it's at Who Would Win 13, and they do comic book and movie character battles. You know, they just put up, you know, it's like who would win, you know, this or that, and they take you can send them ideas too, and they'll put them out. And so I sent them my Guy Gardner Green Lantern art, and I said, what about do a battle Guy Gardner versus Omni-Man from the Image book Invincible.
Oh, okay.
And so they put that out today. So check out if you like comic book and movie characters battling it out in things you'll never see happen in comic books or movies. Check them out.
I got one. How about Jason X versus Thanos?
Thanos by himself is more than a match for most people.
Thanos without the glove.
Even without the glove. I mean, honestly, I mean, he's just going to rip. He's just going to, pick up Jason X, just ripping and it's so many tiny little pieces. And
I know. I just like Jason X.
Yeah.
I just like that movie too. People shit on that movie. I like it. It's so stupid. It's good.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't remotely even have the strength.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
Yeah, you have to have Thanos versus Darkseid.
Yeah, that I'm taking Darkseid all day.
No, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm retweeting right now the Omni-Man versus Guy Gardner with art by Zeus King Dark.
Art by Zeus King Dark. That was a good Guy Gardner you threw, man. I was thinking the little eyebrow like The Rock. It was kind of cool because he has an attitude too. He has a big attitude on him.
Yeah, I drew that. I drew that right around the time of the Sinestro War and the.
I have to admit, though, Zeus, I like the Sinestro better. I can't lie.
Yeah, the Sinestro.
I like that Sinestro you did. That Sinestro was hot.
Yeah. So the idea is like that. I've got like 4 or 5 lanterns drawn.
Yeah.
The idea
you
is
got to a Kilowog, man.
Yeah, I don't have a Kilowog. I got John Stewart. I got Hal Jordan. I've got So Damn Yet as Ion. I got several of them. I was going to put them all in front of the Sinestro. You know.
Nice. That'd be a good pick. I'll be digging that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I got schoolwork and stuff to do, and
yeah. Well,
you know.
So yeah, everyone check that out. I don't really. Friday Night Jams is over. Season 1 is done.
That was good stuff last night, Pedro. Yeah. I gotta admit, man, that was good stuff. I was digging it.
Thank you. So if anyone missed season 1, there's 7 episodes. I should probably put them in a playlist. But we know how.
Do you have them in their own playlist?
We know how lazy I am about keeping up playlists. But
you played that Frankie Valli. I was like 10 things I hate about you popped right into my head.
Oh yeah, on Wednesdays, Tom's Weird Life will continue, to come out on my social media. So
poor Tom is haunted.
Poor Tom's gonna die soon. if he ends up in one of Pedro's songs.
No, so I'm trying to think. This week was chapter 11. I think came out. I think in production. I have 64 chapters done, so they're coming out once a week. So we have Tom for a long while still. So,
okay.
But yeah. Thanks everyone for checking this out. Thanks to YYH for hanging out.
Y2H2, yeah.
Will we be here next week? Anyone?
I believe we will.
As far as I know.
Okay. I don't know what we'll be talking about if we're doing.
Who knows? There'll be another Darkseid episode. Somebody will do something stupid, or maybe Adam Cole will blow up in the ring. Who knows?
Oh my God, poor guy. But yeah, everyone take care, stay safe, eat some pizza. I don't know.
Eat some pizza, drink your beer, wash your hands, wear your mask, do the right thing, get vaccinated, stay safe, and be smart.
Everyone take care, and adieu.